The 2020 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League continuing action in the quarterfinals tonight from Red Bull Arena in Harrison, New Jersey. The debutantes NYCFC taking on Tigres, a seasoned bunch looking for their first title after making the finals in 3 of the last 4 editions. I'm Chris Makoviak. Alongside me, Tony Miola, the former U.S. soccer legend, and of course, beautiful conditions here today. A bit cool, Tony, as we look on over, but plenty of Mexican contingent, and should be a good one here in front of us.
Yeah, it absolutely should be. You mentioned the weather here. This is, as we see the brackets here, this is the night that you can run all night, 51 degrees. The surface will be good. There'll be a nice atmosphere at Red Bull Arena, and it should be 2 sides that we've seen in this competition that want to attack to get to the quarterfinals here.
Yeah, already we saw Olympia yesterday take advantage of a road victory against Montreal. But of course, NYCFC, they haven't scored a goal yet in MLS play, but so far in this tournament, they have been lighting up the back of the net.
They certainly have been, and they went on the road, and it was important for them to get off to a good start. And Eber had a night here where he has a hat trick. Here you see the first 2, put them up 2-0, and it was a night where they thought that they were cruising. They went into the locker room, give up a late one here to Herman Aguilar. Eber buries this penalty kick, and they really attacked this entire night. Here you see Collins getting into the action as well, and there were moments where they allowed San Carlos, and this is where we saw maybe a little bit of a leaky defense here. Nice strike there by Omar Brownie that gave him some problems, cut the score a little bit in the end. Maxi Morales buries the rebound. Then they had to go to Red Bull Arena. There wasn't a lot of work to do. That was really it. Alexander Collins, 6-3 on aggregate as they go through.
Heber not even in that second leg match as after his hat trick in the first leg. And then Tigres, many people paying attention, of course, to both legs. The second leg, most of the story, but Alianza getting things done in leg 1.
Well, yeah, Tigres had, I think, a little bit more work than they thought they were going to have to do. And give Alianza credit here. They come out of this first leg, and Luca Ferretti's side knows they've got work when they go home. They're down 2-1 here. Good ball played in here by Gignac. Normally on the other end of these things, but Enter Valencia, who's not in the starting lineup tonight, gets the goal. And there's not too many Tigres games and important games where you need goals that Gignac doesn't get involved, but give Carlos Portillo and Alianza, they come back, score 2 goals here. This is a play where Tigres falls asleep. And then if you need something done, let the goalkeeper do it, Chris. And Nahul Guzman gets the winner. They go through 5-4.
Yeah, I'm sure you, Tony, and the entire world really loved that goal from Patone. And, of course, he'll be back out here with Tigres coming up shortly. Again, Tony and I will be back. Kickoff coming in this quarterfinal. It's NYCFC and Tigres going at it.
En Canadá, en White Cups Vancouver, y después se fue a Noruega y ya de ahí como
Él dijo lo de las medias, lo de las manos. Vamos, pues vamos. Nahuel, déjale. Así después, bro. Toma un cafecito. Ahora vengo.
Welcome back here into Red Bull Arena in Harrison, New Jersey, getting set for this quarterfinal between NYCFC and Tigres. And we'll start, Tony, with the home side in NYCFC.
Right, for Ronnie Dela here, 2 changes to the side that lost in Toronto this past weekend. Maxime Chenot comes into that back four to Shuri Shradi. Looks like he'll go out wide for Jesus Medina. Of course, Eber up top. He'll need to be sharp to score some goals. Alexander Ring will captain the side.
An NYCFC side that has been able to put up 6 goals in their first 2 matches of this tournament, unfortunately not putting one in yet in their 2 MLS matches, 0-2 for the first time to start a Major League Soccer season. A look at the 11 in all blue playing in Red Bull Arena here today, and a look at one of the star players, of course, on the other side for Tigres as we get set to look at their starting 11 after our captains meet up at midfield. Juan Calderon overseeing things. Of Costa Rica, he oversaw 1 previous matchup so far in this tournament, and that was Olympia and Seattle, that 2-2 thriller in their first leg in the round of 16. On the other side for Tigres, the visitors here today, we look at their starting 11.
Yeah, Guido Pizarro, you saw there, the captain. He'll be in the midfield. It'll be a 4-4-2 for Tuca Ferretti in this side. 2 changes from the last time we saw them against Alianza, as Hugo Ayala will come into that defensive line. Eduardo Vargas, who was a substitute through the first 2 legs, comes in up top.
Yeah, Valencia may be a threat off the bench in the second half. We'll have to keep an eye out for, of course, had that goal in the second leg battle with Alianza. On the benches for today's action, we mentioned Valencia. Some other options maybe for NYCFC.
Yeah, Maxi Morales, Chris, sticks out here for NYCFC. Quinones potentially, if they need a goal. Defensively, Salcedo will come in if they need someone to lock things up for Tigres.
What a moment for NYCFC, their first ever appearance in this tournament, a side out of 2016, their inaugural season. On the other side, celebrating their 60th anniversary as a club. Tigres, of course, so close, knocking on the door for the cup the last couple years. What a moment it would be for them to take it home this year. They have 2 losses to MLS sides in this tournament over the years. Last 2 years, both of those losses, 1 apiece in the quarterfinals. So we'll see if NYCFC can replicate things as we move into tonight's action.
It's an interesting challenge here posed by Ronnie Dela, the head coach of NYCFC, talking about, hey, Tigres are the favorite here. My side hasn't performed well over the last 2 weeks. We haven't been able to score goals. I can't use the words that he used in the press conference, but he said, we're going to find out if they got some right now.
Rough start for both of these clubs in their respective league play. We'll see if they can make a run in this tournament to remedy that. And we're off and running, quarterfinal underway, leg 1, NYCFC and Tigres. One side obviously advancing to the semifinals here in the 2020 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. Again, I'm Chris Pekovic, alongside me, the U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer Tony Miola. Happy to have you with us here from Red Bull Arena, once again hosting the NYCFC home match. And James Sands said it best this week. Really, it's not so much the venue, but the fans that make the most of the location, make it a home venue. The deflected chance just wide, and early on a corner kick just like that for Tigres.
Well, Eduardo Vargas here showing how dangerous he can be, the 30-year-old Chilean from Hoffenheim. A little bit of pressure here that NYCFC doesn't deal with well. Chenot tries to close some space, can't get to it, but does get a deflected ball. Sean Johnson, all he could do is watch it go wide, gave a good effort, but early on here, Tigres on the front foot.
We'll start from the left flank. The short corner, and this will be deflected out. D'Souza winning that one for the throw-in. Ronnie Dela there on the sidelines. His first season, and NYCFC has seen a lot of different faces that position, trying to make his mark early on here in his tenure with maybe a cup victory or at least a semifinal berth.
Chris, we've spoken about his challenge. He comes into a side that obviously is a very good side, a very good attacking side. They were excellent throughout the entire season, top of the Eastern Conference. It's not like you have to make a lot of changes. And he talked about he wanted to see this team kind of play the way they did last year. He wanted to add his sort of twist to little things. As you mentioned earlier, not gotten off to a good start in the goal scoring department, but obviously in this competition scoring 6 goals in the first 2 legs to get here.
Parks picking up his head, almost finding something the other way. NYCFC in business. As Tajori Shradi taking it down towards the final third, cuts around, goes down in an early free kick for the home side. Both teams getting it started on the offensive ends.
Yeah, this will be a good opportunity here. NYCFC to get one in the box. Tajori Shradi running at this back four. Doesn't really have a lot of options and gets bailed out here by Aquino. Into the box now to get some players forward. Tajori Shradi will be on this. Looks like Matritsu as well.
First start of the tournament for the Libyan international, originally born in Switzerland. He's standing over the ball alongside Matritsa. Matritsa already 2 assists to this point in the tournament. 2-man wall for Tigres. And they gave up 4 goals overall in their round of 16 matchup. Ball lofted in, brought down right there, and skied over in the end. Collins was there, but could not finish it.
Well, this is a tough ball for the defense to deal with. Goalkeeper thinks it's going to be an in-swinger here. He hits it with pace and power. Looked like Keaton Parks there, knocks it down. I don't know if he even knows what he's trying to do with it, with the pace and the dip on the ball. Ends up with Collins, and he can't steer it on frame. Maybe got to him a bit too quick, but dangerous free kick for NYCFC early on.
That'll float back to Guzman, who really had the goal heard round the world. The winner that put through Tigres over Alianza, and Tony mentioned it earlier, really got more than they expected, to say the least, from Alianza, and needed that stoppage time finale really to advance. NYCFC, we mentioned 0-2 to start MLS play, but they did receive a red card 3 minutes into their season. I'm not sure if you've ever seen that before, Tony, but obviously off the right.
It's an odd play. Yeah, it's really, really tough. I've been involved in a game like that before, 8 minutes in, where you saw the same thing, and I don't think the referee really had any choice. Unfortunate way to get started, and it's not been good on the attacking side of things. Of course, hasn't found the back of the net, this NYCF side in league play, but we know with Eber up top, Matritsa, Tajori Shradi, we know the job he did last season coming in a moment where 2 seasons ago, I should say, where we didn't think he'd get a lot of time, scored some goals. So they have enough to score goals. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be on the other end of things. Can they deal with guys like Vargas and Gignac, who somehow just continues to score goals at 34?
Through ball now, Ring up ahead, tries to slice it back over. That's stopped. And a foul will bring it back the other way. But that red card for NYCFC was to Chanot, who of course then missed the second matchup in MLS play, a loss to Toronto 1-0 last Saturday. Of course, a big loss if you're losing your center back just like that, and one of 2 players still around from that inaugural season of NYCFC football, and the other being Matarrita. As Tigres back on the other end trying to attack, ball goes out, throw into NYCFC.
So a bright start here from both sides. You know, sometimes you come into these matchups, Chris, and you see some tentativeness on both sides, but looking like they both want to go and attack. Really active when they're putting pressure on through the opposition build-up here.
And one main change we mentioned from Tigres, they bring in Vargas over Valencia. Is that some key tactic change, or is that just fresh legs?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a like for like. Tactically, it looks like they're more in a 4-3-3 here. Gignac out to the left, Vargas, you can see right at the top of the box. You know, and so when they played with Valencia, it was he and Gignac as 2 forwards, so maybe that's the look that they clearly want right now.
Tigres enjoying a bit of possession. They lofted near side, right into the open arms of the NYCFC gaffer.
The one thing in watching the 2 games against Alianza from this Tigres side, there you see Tuca Ferretti, who won't be that calm, I'm sure, throughout the 90 minutes. We'll see him up on the touchline at some point, but how they're spacing, how spread out they are. It's, you know, generally you certainly talk about spacing, but starting positions are so wide oftentimes through build-up The problem becomes, and what they found against Alianza, is when the ball turns over, they're that stretched. If they're not good with the ball, generally it's a team that likes to have possession. NYCFC, even through build-up, as much as they'd like to have possession, is a little bit more compact in the way that they go about their business.
They're home on the right side, and that's part of why, really, that they do enjoy playing at their home venue, Yankee Stadium, one of the smaller fields in Major League Soccer, as a free kick is awarded at midfield and Tigres back in business.
And when they do play at Yankee Stadium, it's a completely, talking to players, a completely different sort of idea for the way that they have to interpret the game. Completely different sight lines where everything is not even. For goalkeepers I've spoken to, they said they really got to work on crosses because the sight lines are a little bit sort of twisted because of the baseball dimension. So, you know, there's a lot of things to adjust to. They've done a very good job of figuring out how to play in that stadium, but they don't have that tonight.
Open room here, advantage played. Vargas on the run, and a wishful chance at that, rolling on wide of Sean Johnson.
You know, but I said in the tie against San Carlos when they had to play in this stadium, once the whistle blows, that's it. There's lines, there's a soccer ball, there's a referee, and let's get rolling. They'll figure that part out.
That's what midfielder for NYCFC, James Sands, was saying in the lead up to this. As long as the fans come, that's what the home venue is all about.
Yeah, and there should be good support for both sides, actually. Tigres is a team, no matter where they travel in the U.S., you'll see that with Club America, Cruz Azul, all the teams. Chivas, when they play in the U.S., they always have very good support.
Offsides flag is up.
Yeah, nice line here from Tigres. Tajiri Shradi just a bit anxious, doesn't recognize. He's got his back, you see here, as he's turned to the defense, and it's really well done by Tigres.
Guzman will get us going again. 34-year-old keeper, 28 career appearances in the SCCL. So if you need a barometer of where Tigres is at in their prowess in this tournament, it's right there as a foul is called. A ring there, the captain of NYCFC called for it.
Yeah, look, this is a side and a group of players that understands this competition, understands competition in CONCACAF. As you mentioned, NYCFC, the newbies in the group, but they figured it out in the first round. And I'm not sure they're going to be in awe of anything throughout this competition. Very experienced players. Sometimes this take maybe a little bit to sort of grow into the competition, if you will, but I expect two sides that want to attack each other for 180 minutes.
Parks there, another interception on the night. Counts goes down, and now Matarrita on the left side trying to move it up. Matarrita, a little bit of a nutmeg there for the fans. Matarrita cutting it back. And Tigres once again closing the angles and suffocating really that end of the pitch.
There.
Right back to NYCFC now. Parks, and deflected up. He saved in the end. It's Rodriguez.
And I think what you'll see here, this is two times here, NYCFC is most successful with this repress. When they get into the attack, they turn the ball right back over and put you under pressure here. Now it keeps you pinned back a little bit, and this will be a third one now that they'll win back once again. So in three separate possessions, Tigres really hasn't had anything going, but this is good pressure by Vargas here up top. Doesn't make it easy, but NYCFC, another good job here.
There comes Sands, the 19-year-old. Can fill in defensive midfield or at center back. He started at center back in that loss to Toronto on Saturday. Through ball, through the lane. Tajiri Shradi is saved. A second opportunity goes up and out of play, but a huge stop by Guzman.
Boy, what an opportunity here, and what a great save by Guzman, as you mentioned here. In the end, Alexander Ring was at the right side of the box, maybe wanted the second opportunity, but we talked about the good line just earlier. Boy, he looks offside there. No VAR in this competition, so they'll just continue to play. Look at Alexander Ring. Here's the initial one. Good save here. What a reaction. Guzman, and this one goes over the bar. You saw Alexander Ring at that back post. Good opportunity once again. It was, to me, a hint of offside as he broke through, but they'll just have to continue to play here tonight.
Foul called. It's the captain of Tigres, Pizarro, the Argentine, his second stint with Tigres. As that's knocked out of play, and they'll get some room in their own end. Tuca Ferretti, as you mentioned, Tony, already up and walking around.
Yeah, he's not long for sitting on the bench all that much.
Knows what it means to win. It was the Champions League at the time, the Champions Cup in 2003, and won it 2 times as a player. Ring, through ball left side, Eber. And it's scooped away. Rough so far for Tigres on the clearances. We got this one back though.
Well, there's a good pace to the game so far early on. First 13, 14 minutes here.
Two teams that like possession. Right now it's Tigres serving things up. 14 minutes into our quarterfinal here in the 2020 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. Of course, the first of 2 legs. The second one will come next week. As that's given away once again. Ring scoops it over the top, and a chance maybe for the home side. Matriza. 1v1 to the top, strikes it over, but it rolls out.
What a good opportunity here. Good breakout by NYCFC. Matriza gets it out wide left. So difficult for a defender when an inverted winger, him going on his right foot here. 1v1 with Meza, comes out of the center of defense, and he'll want that one back. He has a pretty good look at goal here. It sits up nicely for him, and he just gets it all wrong. Good opportunity.
Eber gets a lot of the attention on NYCFC, but of course, Matriza putting up a solid goal total in 2019. 12 goals for NYCFC in MLS play. Vargas stuck in traffic. The Chilean moving it back centrally. De Souza helping it along. Scooped over the top. Giniac's there, but so is Chanot. Heads it up and out of play. It's a corner kick, second of the night for Tigres.
Very good tracking here. Tough ball for a defender to go back here. Doesn't have a hand on Gignac at that back post. Look at the run Gignac makes to peel away from the defender. The ball needed about another yard to get to him. Chanot alert to knock it out.
Service in, headed straight back and away. Another corner kick for Tigres.
Tigres putting a little pressure on NYCFC here.
Back post now, no one there. Top of the box maybe.
Now's when you got to get organized in the box. When you're all pushing out, you lose your marks that you initially had.
Service in, and again, NYCFC handling the danger well.
Yeah, they do a very good job there. That's secondary ball that comes in. You have your first mark, and when you clear it, everyone starts to push out, and now you lose your mark. You get away from your player because you're pushing out, and that's where sometimes you can get a little bit unorganized defensively. Nicely done there by NYCFC on that one.
Tigres coming into the area on Monday, spending a day training. Red Bull Arena, getting a feel for things. Here's Sands. Now Ring. We'll try things out on the far flank. Eber's there, heads it back over. Ring, the strike, and the volley just wide of Guzman.
Boy, what good recognition here by Eber to realize that Ring is at the top of the box as a trailing runner. Ball gets played in. He doesn't try and do too much with it. He's going to try and flick it in the area. Good ball played in. Matarrita, good header there. Boy, Ring had another good opportunity here for NYCFC. That's really well done by Eber. And Ring maybe didn't need the hop and the jump. Maybe had more time than he thought, but here they go once again with numbers.
Through ball not working out there from Matrica, and it's back over to Tigres. And not to be overlooked, Eber a hat trick in that first leg against San Carlos.
And his runs were outstanding in the box. They'll need a little bit more of that tonight. You saw that last one there. Matrica trying to slip one through to Eber. Didn't quite come off, but good recognition from both players.
Vargas skying one into the fans, and Johnson has a goal kick.
And you see another ball drop back down the other end. It was Jordan Sierra on that right side into Vargas, and Vargas a bit of a tougher angle, obviously, than Eber had here. Ball played across by Aquino here. And it was Jordan Sierra. Tough one for Vargas. One of those, if it ends up in the back of the net, those are goal of the year candidates.
Matrica, Romanian international, moving it right side to Joy Shroudy once again.
And one thing to note here, Alexander Rings made 4 or 5 runs from deep in the midfield or deeper than that front line through the back four. He doesn't get that one once again, but does that play out as the game moves on here? Will they find him, slip a ball through?
It seems like Parks and Sands holding things up in the back. Able to make those runs forward, the captain of NYCFC. Despite all the success, Tigres winning just one of their last 8 away matches in Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League play. Streak they're trying to break right now. Losing to Monterrey in the final last year, 2-1 on aggregate. Floating ball, short enough there for the headed clearance by Matarrita. Somehow that stayed in play. Matrica gets it, and it's back to Matarrita. Costa Rican international moving around the back, and now Johnson gets a touch. Johnson with 6 saves in the matchups with San Carlos. Already 13 in his first 2 matches in MLS competitions. Then NYCFC and Tigres doing battle here. Quarterfinal leg 1 of the 2020 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. To Joy Shroudy cutting inside, a strike and a save by Guzman. Oh, the keeper having to come up huge there.
Yeah, this one is a difficult play here. They've got Tinnerholm. Tajuri Shroudy has Tinnerholm getting around here on the right. Again, another inverted winger coming inside. Look at this dip at the end here. Guzman had to be sharp. Have 2 hands on it here. Not one you can really catch there with the pace and the power, and then that dip right at the end. Takes the safe route. 2 hands behind the ball, knocks it out for a corner kick.
NYCFC peppering the Argentine keeper. Early on here, 21 minutes in. NYCFC, their first corner kick so far. Joy Shroudy puts it in near post. Back to the top. Tinnerholm cuts over and stopped.
Tinnerholm did a nice job. He let it run through his legs, and he was going to flick it to his left foot. Then it ran a little bit too far. Good idea, good imagination. Just didn't pull it off in the end.
Matrica now on the right flank. Aquino. End line, flicks it, and they'll get the clearance. Saw Tigres enjoy a majority of possession for a bit there, and now it's NYCFC resetting.
I think if you're Ronnie Dyler right now, you're happy with the way things have started here for your side. You obviously know how dangerous this Tigres team can be.
Now Vargas nearly intercepting that one.
You're not going to get a lot of pressure from Gignac and Vargas. They'll pick those moments like you just saw. Can they maybe steal one from you, but they'll just kind of guide things from side to side.
Tinnerholm, good run, end line, cuts it back over and headed away. Now Ring trying to settle it, but it'll be a free kick the other way.
Boy, another good opportunity here. De Souza, I believe, came tracking through the midfield to break this one up. Tajiri Shradi here. This is the earlier play. And you'll watch the dip on this one right at the end. Not a lot of spin. 18 yards it travels here. You'll see the white of the ball, and there's not a full rotation on that one. As animated as Ronnie Dyla was there, I'm sure when he looks back on it, he'll be happy with sort of the rhythm they've had here 5 or 6 times, getting into the final third with relative ease.
Yeah, so far, really the top chances coming with the home side. Tigres, they've gotten their chances, but mostly from outside the box. And one important player we haven't seen active too much, and the Frenchman, Gignac.
Well, that's the story of Gignac, right? You can see him jogging in the midfield there on the left of your screen. He's really playing a little bit more of a withdrawn forward, if you will, during build-up and during the pressure part of it. He and Vargas are the two up top because they really just want those two players to steer it from one side to the other. They don't want him doing all the work, but Gignac is Gignac. You won't see him from 89 minutes and before you look up and he's got 2 goals, and that's just the way that it's been. Maybe one of, if not the best ever foreign signing in Liga MX.
Had 2 goals, including a penalty in the victory over Alianza in the second leg. Now Gignac, just like that, he opens up and fires it away.
Well, there you go. Good opportunity, right? We're just talking about it. You don't call his name, and all of a sudden he's 25, 26 yards from goal, staring at goal. Okay, this one doesn't get on frame, but that's how dangerous he can be.
I apologize to the NYCFC fans tuning in. All of a sudden now he's in on the action with that shot.
NYCFC really committed to building out of the back, staying with their principles here. This one starts with Sean Johnson. They lose it here, but they don't look phased by the pressure from Tigres. A really enjoyable game at the moment.
Sands up to Ring, tried the through ball to Eber, but it's back over to Guzman. Ronnie Dyler said when entering the match, he was focused on trying to limit the crossing ability. That was one area they really noticed with Tigres, and so far, they haven't really been able to use the wings against this NYCFC defense. No,
they really haven't. They haven't. You're still playing in build-up with one striker in that 4-2-3-1, but it's credit to
Tinnerholm cuts it over, Ring settling in, back over, and another save by Guzman. Eber was there with the strike.
And Eber doesn't get all of this. You're talking about wing play. It's been all wing play for NYCFC with overlaps. This time a ball gets swung in. Eber mishits this one. It's not a very difficult save from Guzman. It's a very easy height with no pace on it. He pushes it wide, but if you're Tigres, you don't want the opposition's best goal scorer 6 yards away from your goalkeeper, looking him in the eyeballs too many times.
Costa Llanos on the bench today so far for NYCFC, but he made a good point that you might share as a former professional, that despite not being the home venue at Red Bull Arena, they are familiar with it because they've played away matches there, big derbies obviously, and they come in today with the same mindset against Tigres.
Yeah, and I still go to when the referee blows the whistle, you're still playing, right? You at this moment, the blue jerseys have no idea this is not their home stadium right now. They're just playing the game. They don't look uncomfortable at all. They look very much in a rhythm.
Tigres now, first time in a while, they've been able to share the ball a bit across the back line at midfield.
Not a lot of yellow jerseys in the attack there. Heck of a lot more blue jerseys around Vargas at the top of the box. You see that last opportunity here. See, Eber doesn't really catch it here. Hits it at Guzman as he's going down. He's got that near post covered.
3 saves so far for Guzman.
He certainly has been one of the heroes for this Tigres side getting here.
Tigres nearly intercepting it. Joy Schradi, he's been very active early on a few of those great shots.
It's a nice battle there.
Now Ring. Nifty back heel there from Sands.
NYCFC looks very comfortable as I say that in possession and they turn it over. The announcer's cursed, but I think the rhythm has been the way that they want to interpret the game, the way that we've seen it for the last couple of years. And that's twice now. Guzman, he got lucky there not to give that one away, but poor distribution into the midfield. That's a nice one there.
Through ball left side, but the flag is up and Vargas unable to dash it to the box.
Yeah, Vargas just a little bit anxious here. Well done by this back line for NYCFC. Easy when you only have to coordinate. You see Tinnerholm at the right here, so the center backs don't have to deal with him. They've only got to coordinate 3, and at the top of your screen there, good discipline by Ronald Matarrita to read the center back's line and stay with it.
Vargas 6 goals all time in his career in this competition. 10 goals for Gignac. Joy Schradi from outside. Flicks one in there, but Guzman will have the easy stop and pick possession back up.
Yeah, Guzman's been pretty active in this game so far. I don't know that we've called Sean Johnson's name all that much, which is a pretty good indication if you're an NYCFC fan that that's how you want the game to go, but the fact that NYCFC's really been on the front foot here. Having said that, this Tigres side, when you look at the names, you look at the ability of the individuals, even when they're not playing well, they've got individuals that can break you down in one play, and before you know it, you feel like you've got your foot on the pedal, you feel like you're really growing into the game, and you can find yourself down 1-0 very easily with this side.
And that's one thing we saw, a combo working in the second leg against Alianza Valencia and Gignac, really working in a tandem back and forth, and they were able to go up 3-0 early on the side out of El Salvador.
Yeah, and that's how quick it can happen to you. It's they're so talented individually.
Trying to draw out this NYCFC press just a bit. That's what they'll get.
Alexander Ring does so much work. James Sam's behind him. Keaton Parks with Ring in that role just behind the front 3 in the middle of the field, closing lanes.
Quino giving it off, but right to Parks. De Souza winning it back. With 6 appearances in UEFA Champions League back in 2012, facing the likes of Benfica, Barcelona, and Celtic. Now Tigres trying out the right flank. Cowens is there. Rodriguez couldn't find much, will get the ball back. Rodriguez winning the 2010-2011 edition of this tournament with Monterrey. Gignac. Matriza through the contact. Advantage played as well. Brought down, and that advantage will bring it back. NYCFC getting a free kick.
What a great job here by Matriza. You mentioned the first three players he slipped in between, and this one here, he really has nothing as he pushes this ball. He recognizes the pressure, he runs into the defender, draws the foul here in the end. There's really nothing in front of him. He's getting caught from behind, he's got a defender, and he knows exactly what he's doing. Great use of his body. Draws the foul here.
Tuca Ferretti looking on. NYCFC right now, dictating things offensively.
Doesn't look very impressed at the moment with his side's performance.
Matriza over the ball. Matriza will be the one that takes it. Scooping it in there, headed away, at least for a moment, as Guzman had to fly in over Sands.
Nice job by Guzman going up in traffic.
Some gamesmanship there. Sands and Eber putting some pressure on the punt. Through ball, Parks on the run. Duenas getting there first.
Almost pulled off, a little in, back, and through. Third man running right down the middle of the field. Had the pass been better, would have been a good look at goal for NYCFC, but you get an idea of what they're trying to do.
A foul is called against Tajori Shradi. Took a tough bounce off him to start.
It looked like he had the defender pinned on his back. If it didn't hit him in the back, it runs through, and he's the first to it. Had the wherewithal to continue and turn around and switch on to his defensive responsibility. Breaks up the play, draws the foul, but it slows things down.
Just beyond Sierra there, couldn't get to it. Tanner Holmes, some pressure from the front line of Tigres, and Johnson will get his first touch in quite a while. Cowens, the Peruvian. Back all the way through for a goal kick. And Tony, in a situation like that, you're Sean Johnson. Haven't seen too much through the first half. Does that concern you of a Tigres attack impending, and if you're ready for it, or?
No, at this rate right here, some of us can continue to play at this rate. No, if you're Sean Johnson, you're really happy with what's going on. The only thing he's really had to do is be part of the build-up, and he's done a pretty good job of that. And it's something that I know in having conversations with him, he's worked on over the last couple of years. And Patrick Vieira, when he was the manager of the club, he wanted him to continue to work there.
Cross in, header just wide, and just like that.
Wow.
Tigres, maybe their best chance of the night.
Well, no doubt their best chance here is their captain comes flying through Pizarro from a little deeper in the midfield. Look at the coordination with Vargas here on this left-hand side. Aquino with the cross. And boy, Sean Johnson would have had nothing to say about this one had it been on frame here. This is hit with some pace and some power. They don't pick up the mark, and you can see there it doesn't miss by much. And as a goalkeeper, you're just kind of looking around, and you're hoping at that moment.
Well, we talked about those secondary or third runs for NYCFC into the box. Whatever midfielder was marking Pizarro there didn't stay with him.
Yeah, late runs, good recognition by Pizarro, finds some space in the box, recognizes he can beat his defender. It's an art coming late in the box. You pick, you don't come all the time. If you come all the time, people are expecting you all the time. I think Alexander Ring does a pretty good job of this for the most part as well for NYCFC. You pick your moments. All dependent on the guys in front of you. If they can occupy some players in front of you, and now you find an inch of space to run through, you can find yourself open. but there's an art to it.
Flick on. Duenas has to deal with it, sends it downfield. It's back with the blue kit. Ring, bit of a give and go. Second one, maybe it's deflected. Tinnerholm now. Vargas. Maybe Tigres pouncing on the opportunity. Long ball. Gignac is there, left side of the box. Cuts back over. A nutmeg there goes down, no call. And the Frenchman beside himself, but play continues. Out, and it stays with Tigres.
Referee Oscar Calderon, the Costa Rican, having nothing to do with this Gignac play here. This was a collision at the top of the box as Gignac was coming through here, but look at Gignac slipping in through James Sands' leg. James Sands drops a shoulder on him, and Gignac trying to draw the penalty kick here. We're pretty close to get that call. There's really no way for James Sands to get out of the way, although we have seen calls for penalty kicks with less contact. For me, it's not a penalty kick, and the referee's also checking to see what happened at the top of the box.
Pizarro, the captain of Tigres, for obvious reasons, having a word with our head official. Duenas. Have a throw in on the near side. Will go the short route. D'Souza. Just over 6 minutes plus stoppage time remaining in half number one. Quarterfinal first leg of the 2020 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. And alongside me, U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer Tony Miola. I'm Chris Makoviak. Happy to have you with us. About 50 degrees here in Harrison, New Jersey. Red Bull Arena, the site of tonight's action. Chip to left side. Tinnerholm is there, comes up, and he'll guide it out of play.
It's been a better run of the action here for Tigres over the last couple minutes, and here you see Gignac cutting Keaton Parks, cutting James Sands, but he's so close to him there. I think the referee makes the right call because there's really nowhere for James Sands to go at that moment.
James Sands, one of the great young talents right now in MLS, 19 years old and a regular starter for NYCFC. Actually went on loan with Louisville City in 2018, only lasted 3 appearances before NYCFC said, hey, we want you back. He went on to make 4 appearances that year.
Yeah, with his old national team, youth national team coach, John Hackworth there, giving him some time and allowing him to grow even for a couple of games, but getting him in a very good training environment. And as you mentioned, right back to NYCFC.
And Sands said this week it's been a quick rise for him through the divisions, and the biggest thing he has to adjust to is really the speed of play goes up a notch each time, and I'm sure that happens here against Tigres on this Wednesday night.
Yeah, the one thing everyone talked about is versatility, and they always do, but to be able to do it here at this level early on in your career in a couple positions has been pretty impressive for the 19-year-old. There's a name we haven't called all that much is Eber. We want to get him some service in the box, although he has opened up some space.
Matriza, Eber, through ball, Matriza, and it's guided out of play. Second corner kick of the night coming for NYCFC.
Uga Ayala here, emergency defending, good coordination between Matriza and Eber on the give and go, and Ayala had to be sharp, he had to get the timing right.
Matriza will take it. Second year with NYCFC, making 30 appearances in league play last year. And cleared away easily by the forward, Vargas. Here's Parks, former Benfica player. Left side, Evers there, strikes it, side netting.
Oh, good save here by Guzman. He's going to call for a ball, but he knows he pushed this one wide here. We said we hadn't called Evers' name. He gets it on his left foot here. Again, it's Ring in the middle of the field. Good little turn. Ever takes a little bit of time. A defender comes and closes them down here. Ayala and cuts that back post off. So all Guzman has to do is deal with the near post as long as it doesn't go through the defender's legs. And that's a pretty good save from that range and that pace.
A word with Sands as he works the near post. Ball sent in, and Guzman just grabbing it there. Over the head of Parks. Throw in the Tigres as we tick down towards the end of the first half. Tigres may be looking to get some momentum into the second half with that recent strike they had by Pizarro. Out of play, back where we start, another throw in at midfield. Sierra back heel. Pizarro, the captain. Gignac.
Really no options for Jordan Sierra. You can see him there.
Ball sent in.
Calling for players for some movement. It's been a little bit stagnant from Tigres.
Pizarro strikes it on the volley, out of play.
I think from a managerial standpoint, if you're Ronnie Diley, you're happy with the way your team's performed both sides of the ball here. If you're Tuca Ferretti, you're not nearly as happy, and he'll draw it up a little bit differently in that dressing room. He'll have his ideas when he gets in there, and I'm sure they'll come out and look a little different side. It looks like they may have gone to 3 in the back here the last couple of minutes, really in a 3-4-1-2, if you will, with Gignac underneath the forwards. But they've changed a couple times here in this first half because really there's not been a lot that has worked so far.
Tennerholm getting it back. Through ball. Tajoy Shrowdy is there. Guzman trying to help it along. It goes out of play. Now Parks. Cowan stepping all the way up. Matritza almost losing it. Now Matarita. Parks. Tennerholm wide open there for a second. They'll try the right side to Joy Shradi. Good cutback. Loops it in there. Headed out of play. Duenas is there. It's a corner kick for NYCFC.
It was, Chris, a good cutback as we see the whistle here, but I thought Tajiri Shradi had a cross a little bit earlier. Referee blows it a little bit earlier. Maybe had a different watch on than the rest of us, but a good first half so far. Very entertaining.
Tigres and NYCFC dead even, 0-0 at the break. We'll be back with the second half action shortly. Welcome back here into Red Bull Arena. Tigres and NYC FC going at it, and 0-0 at the break time.
Yeah, 0-0, and I think it's a pretty fair result, although I think the better of the play was with NYCFC. They created some opportunities. Tuca Ferretti and his side really haven't had that much going forward. Gignac with a couple opportunities, but here's an early free kick that ends up with Collins. It was Tajuri Shradi knocking it in. Keaton Parks knocking it down. I don't know he knew much about it. Matrice had been good on this left wing here. Pulls it a little bit wide here, but tough for defenders. These inverted wingers come in on their right foot from that side, left foot from the other side. Ball swung in. Very well done here by Eber on the free kick, and he knocks it down for Alexander Ring, who can't steer it on frame, but a good opportunity, good recognition by Eber. Tajuri Shradi has had a good run here down this right-hand side, and he's been helped by the overlapping runs of Tinnerholm, which has opened up space for him as well. And this one is that dipping shot we saw in the first half. Guzman, the more active, no doubt about it, of the two goalkeepers. Ronnie Dela maybe wanted to see that one go in the net, but would be happy with the opportunities they created here. Here's one more for Eber. Again, started down this right-hand side. You mentioned wing play in the first half. That's been all NYCFC in this first half so far. So you see some opportunities created, but again, Chris, we talked about how quickly, with the talent that this Tigres side has, that they can get at you. Gignac is one of those players, and this maybe was the best of all the opportunities here, and that's a pretty good save at the near post from Guzman.
Yeah, Guzman had to make plenty of saves in that first half, and Eber, we mentioned it, a lot of other players from the wings getting involved. Not too much from him other than the final few minutes of that first half.
Yeah, this is where they want to see him, in the box in front of goal, looking at the goalkeeper with opportunities like that.
Looking at the stats now from our first half, and a little bit edge of possession for Tigres, but overall both sides getting their chances. But big spot there, Tony, 5 shots on target.
Yeah, and the possession part of it, NYCFC's had possession in dangerous areas, and that's what I always look at. Those numbers sometimes can be deceiving. How difficult has it been to break down this NYCFC defense with that 56%? They really haven't been all that dangerous, Tigres.
Sean Johnson so far, quiet day, and that's the way he likes it. 0-0 on the board, NYCFC and Tigres. We'll be back in a few moments. Plenty of action already in front of us today, but here's a look at Atlanta United and Club America coming up later tonight. Welcome back here into Red Bull Arena. 0-0 at the break between Tigres and NYCFC. Again, I'm Chris McCovic alongside me, the U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer Tony Miola. And Tony, a whole lot of NYCFC in the first half. And with that, we see Tigres making the first move in the second half.
Yeah, Luis Quinones will come in here. But, yeah, with the NYCFC, I think that the one thing that I'm sure Ronnie Dyla harped on, you have all these opportunities you got to take advantage of them. When you have the rhythm, when you have chances, you got to score goals. You don't want to let a team like this stay in the game.
So the Colombian Quinones coming on for Sierra. And we're back underway here. Second 45. NYCFC and Tigres going at it. And now NYCFC with all three of their substitutions, 2 left for Tigres. Both sides getting their opportunities in that first half, but really a yin and a yang at certain points. Momentum shifts with possession of the ball.
Yeah, we saw early on, especially that first 30 minutes, after NYC settled into the game, it was pretty much all them. Tigres kind of grew into it later in the second half. There was the early opportunity from Vargas in the first minute or two of the game that looked like it got deflected, and in watching the replay at halftime, Sean Johnson may have gotten a touch to it as well, but after that, NYCFC took over in dangerous possession and were pretty good going forward.
NYCFC, 9 shots, 5 on target in that first half. Just 1 on target for Tigres. Quinones over the top, and it will be headed down back to Parks. Parks over the sands. So they'll get us going. And it wasn't so much Eber that really was a key to the offense for NYCFC. Yes, he got some shots on target, but really the wings exploded for the home side. This time right down the middle, Ring slides it over, but Guzman coming up to pick it up.
Boy, Ali gets a piece of Keaton Parks here as he distributes this one, and so catches him right in the chest. You see, as he releases this with the outside of his foot, he gets pushed from behind, and De Souza pushes him from behind, and he ends up running into Ayala.
Was on loan from Benfica last year and put up 22 appearances, had a good run in the U.S. Open Cup for NYCFC, 2 goals, 1 assist in his 3 appearances, and right into the shoulder there. He has.
Yeah, and it was important for NYCFC in this offseason to make sure they locked him up. There was some uncertainty going into the offseason on where Keaton Parks would end up, but I think this is a good opportunity for him to sort of solidify his spot in the team. He's been used really as one of the double tens, if you will, behind the forwards by Ronnie Dyla, and he's done a very good job there. But at his age, 22 years old, you need to be on the field, you need to be playing, you need to be getting minutes, and that's what he's getting here, and he's done a very good job for this side. And nice to see him have a home that he knows more often than not on the weekend he'll be on the team sheet.
Over 40 appearances for Benfica B and 6 appearances for the senior squad. As we get things going again down the right flank. And Parks ready to come right back on. A good sign there for the Frisco, Texas native. Sands stepping up, trying to win the ball. Joey Shroudy winning it himself, cutting through traffic. And to the right flank, here comes NYCFC. Bolin, Eber's there, and it's blocked.
Boy, good build-up. Tajuri Shradi continues with the play. Maybe gets a lucky bounce. Gignac here on the ground was in the beginning part of this play. A couple of collisions. Eber with another one. I believe it was De Souza who got back once again to block this left-footed attempt, but down this right-hand side, Tinnerholm has had a pretty good game. Some good opportunities.
Gignac already displeased tonight not to get that penalty kick in the first half. We saw some tempers flare in final few minutes of that first half, and now some more here. Another look at what happened.
Really, he does catch one in the grill there, but Tajuri Shradi just trying to shield the ball. We see that quite often.
Back underway with the drop balls. Sean Johnson getting us going. Parks sending it over to the center back, Chanot.
That's a bad giveaway here.
Pizarro, captain of Tigres, had 2 of the better chances for the side in that first half. Ayala stepping up. 2 starts in the 2018 World Cup for Mexico. Some of the last of his 47 appearances for the Mexican national team. Here's Rodriguez. We're 5 minutes into the second half already. Are you seeing anything different maybe in the tactics of Tigres?
Really, I'm seeing the same Tigres here in this second half, not being able to figure things out. There's a line set in and around midfield at the circle with Eber, and then everyone else behind that midfield mark. And as they go back here, they'll put a little bit more pressure on. But Tigres seems to have no ideas right now on how to break things down. And yeah, they're searching, they're probing here. Credit to NYCFC for not making it easy. See no one really in advanced position. Vargas is the only one. Everyone's kind of in this middle third of the field here trying to figure things out. Gignac checking back into the midfield line here. But again, I go back to what I said in the first half. It's a team that's talented, a team that's got technical players, and in one moment you think you've got them shut down and you find yourself giving up a goal.
Quinones giving it back centrally. Slowly trying to put some pressure on this NYCFC press. Now they'll slide it quickly ahead. Vargas, his opportunity, chipped away. Vargas almost to it, ring, and then sliced away.
You know, credit to Ronnie Dyla because he has set this team up in a way tonight to give them success against a very talented side, and this is where they've been dangerous in that first half on this counter here when the ball turns over.
Eber down the left flank after his interception. Matriza from far out, a skipper off the arms of Guzman, and he's able to grab it before it goes out.
And Guzman gets his body behind this one. It bounces tough for the goalkeeper in front of you, but cleans it up.
Guzman having to make quite a few saves so far tonight, keeping Tigres in this and NYCFC off the board.
You're starting to see a little more urgency right now from Tigres. And truth be told, as good as NYC has played, an away goal, we know what that does in the competition. Now that changes the face of things. If you can get one here.
We already saw that last night, Olympia taking down Montreal 2-1 in their first leg. D'Souza stepping up, he'll go left flank. Tigres not able to find the opportunity.
Oh boy, what a turn here by Matriza.
Matriza on the run. Blue ball left side, Eber's there. Tries to chip up ahead and not what the Romanian wanted.
Matriza pointing to exactly where he wanted it in front of him, and I think Eber just hit it wrong. I think that's where he's probably trying to play it.
Good stop there. Matarrita cutting off the angle. Tigres back in action on Sunday. League play facing FC Juarez. NYCFC, they'll play Saturday, home opener against FC Dallas. And of course, the second leg of this one mid next week. Dueñas, a giveaway there on the deflection. Then another deflection helps out Tigres.
A little bit sloppy here from both sides. Last couple minutes.
Again here in Harrison, New Jersey, Red Bull Arena, the venue for this first leg of the quarterfinal between NYCFC and Tigres. I'm Chris McCubic, alongside me, U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer Tony Miola. Team to make it out of this matchup will face off with either Olympia or Montreal.
It's an Olympia side who we've seen all the way through Concacaf League. Very difficult to break down. Pedro Trollio's side is very organized, and they find a way to go into Seattle and win in penalty kicks, and in a spot that not many thought they could, and they'll be tough.
Dejori Strati, cross in. Eber was there in the box, nearly wide open, but then the ball out of play. NYCFC, plenty of pop off the bench we could see in the second half, yet to use a sub. Looks at Maxi Morales there and available as Johnson will get a touch here.
And you talk about on the offensive side for Ronnie Dyla, Maxi Morales, Castellanos, Jesus Medina, who started this competition brightly, and there's been question marks about, you know, how he fits in the Dyla system. Are they getting the most out of him? He's also an option off the bench. Very talented player, still trying to find his way with this group, but was very good against San Carlos.
Started both of those matchups against San Carlos. Here's Parks. Ring. Matriza and Eber trying to work that combo again, just couldn't find the right angle. Ayala, 32-year-old center back, gives it off. Tigres since 2010, nearly 400 appearances in all competitions for his club. Gignac couldn't get there. Parks, a nice stop.
A little ball to release play here between two players. Keaton Parks having a good game. James Sands, a lot of work in this midfield. Always an option, moving all the time. Not afraid to have the ball in that number 6 pocket right here. That's a tough ball. He deals with it again. Another good ball here.
Eber trying to head it down, back to Ring.
Look, they're being called here. Eber's being called for the offside here.
Appeals for a handball as well on the near sideline. Either or, it's back to Tigres.
I think the whistle was actually blown just before that. Would have been a handball either way.
First 14 minutes of this second half, Tigres making NYCFC into a counterattack side as they enjoy some possession finally in the final third, but it stopped immediately. Back out, and it's the MLS side in business.
This hasn't been a sharp Tigres side tonight. They haven't really found a rhythm. There's been moments in the game that they've been able to get forward. They've been able to find some opportunities to look at goal, but as far as having a rhythm, it's not been there.
Eber threw ball in there. Guzman comes out to crush the angle, and he does just that.
Oh, good run in here, and we talked about Ring making runs to that back four in the first half. He does it once again. Eber, good timing. This one hits off his heel here, a little bit unlucky. Looked like he was probably not going to goal there, probably trying to steer it, turn it back out to continue the play, and gets unlucky.
Rodriguez on the right side. Take it in. He's been with Tigres since 2016. But again, mostly many angles forming for Tigres out of the back. NYCFC holding this line of 5 midfielders.
So some explosiveness, there from Quinones, the substitute, and before Collins came over to break up the play. Pushed it by Matarita. Looked like he was off to the races.
Quinones puts it in. Johnson there at the back post to scoop it in.
Yeah, easy one here for Sean Johnson. A lot of air under this one. Goalkeepers will eat that one up all day. Nice backspin for him to sit in your gloves nicely.
Quinones, he has made 14 appearances in this tournament in his career. 2 goals, 4 assists. You can see why. trying to add some attack from the right wing. Gignac puts this one on. Vargas is there, but so is Tinnerholm and Chanot. Pizarro. He'll survey the right flank. Gignac keeps it alive. Quinones. That give and go not working out.
Quinones here coming in, a little bit of a spark. Now that one, as you mentioned, doesn't quite come off here, but he's got some energy. He's brought some life to the side. Good job by the substitute.
Matarrita gets the deflection, stays in play though. Stays with NYCFC. Undercut there, a foul in favor of the home side as ring goes down. Free kick. And there might be the first substitute of tonight's action.
I wonder if he comes a straight swap here for Eber up top. He's had a decent run, but it'll give him NYCFC a little bit different dimension.
Giveaway out of play at the back, and it's a throw-in for Tigres. Six shots for the away side, 1 on target. 11 for NYCFC, 7 on target. That back out of play to NYCFC as they get set to make their first substitution. And we're hearing it is for Eber. Straight switch at the top.
And Castellanos will get his responsibility on restarts here. And can he be the difference here in this one? As you mentioned, Eber's going to come out. He's the most likely guy, like for like change. So it won't change the formation. It'll give him a little bit different look as he'll check in the midfield. He's got some quick feet. Likes to run in behind the back four as well.
Here's that substitution. The Argentine coming on. 11 goals, 7 assists last year in Major League Soccer for NYCFC. Off goes Eber. Some solid chances tonight, but not able to find the back of the net. Offsides, flag is up. This will come back for NYCFC. NYCFC and Tigres doing battle here from Red Bull Arena in Harrison, New Jersey. 0-0 so far in the first 66 minutes. That ball goes directly out of play, back to Tigres.
Well, the rhythm from both sides here has kind of completely got thrown out of the game, and you're trying to establish that rhythm. Or do you look for one of, I call them moments in the game, a restart, an individual play? This is a little better. Sands takes a hit in that midfield as well.
Nice through ball there towards the left side. Player down. Quinones looking for a card.
Yeah, Quinones catches it there. James Sands follow through, but there's not much you can do about that one.
Throwing for Tigres in their own end. Guzman will take a whack at it. Castellanos with the pressure up top. Some fresh legs in there for NYCFC. Clearance over to Ring. Captain dashing down the right side. Through ball. Testing the Argentine forward early on. A foul there.
That's very good defending here. Bodies flying all over the place. Castellanos goes for this one. Recovers for a second one as well. Look at this race here. Castellanos and Meza comes from the middle of the field. Nicely done. Gets up. Gets a little tug on the shoulder. We'll see here. Good battle by two players. And watch the tug on the shoulder right here. Grabs a bit of the jersey. Pulls him down. Easy call for the referee, but loved the battle between the two players.
Tigres unable really to get things going offensively here in the second half. Vargas and Gignac unable to see much time on the ball. There's Rodriguez. De Souza. Quinones. Pizarro trapped a bit here on the right side. Quinones approaching right side of the box, puts it in. Vargas there, gives it up and deflected out of play by Chanot. It's a corner kick for Tigres.
Boy, good opportunity for Tigres here. Good coordination getting down this right-hand side. They haven't had, as you mentioned, much wing play until the substitute, Quinones, has come in here. Vargas can't really turn and steer that on frame. Chanot reads the play, closes at the top of the box.
Fourth corner kick of the match for Tigres. Vargas, the Chilean international, getting set to put it in. Deflected and cleared on the volley, and NYCFC player is down in the box. Now Rodriguez. The player getting right back on up. Quinones puts it in. Gignac couldn't bring it down, and Tajori Shradi putting it away back towards midfield.
Right now, nice battle happening here down this left-hand side with Matarita and the substitute Quinones. Quinones getting the better of him right now.
There he is again. Pizarro turning to his left. De Souza. Sands getting in on the action. NYCFC pushing things back. Quinones couldn't find much on the right wing, and they'll reset at midfield. 19 minutes plus stoppage time remaining, and we still stand 0-0 after all the offense we've had here in Red Bull Arena. Quinones, the nutmeg. Atritza winning it back for NYCFC. And a foul is called on Pizarro.
Boy, Quinones has really come in and changed the pace of the game for Tigres here. He's given a little bit of speed down the wing. As I mentioned earlier, some energy. We'll see this substitution made for Ronnie Dylan. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Jesus Medina for Tajuri Shradi here. And again, positionally a like-for-like substitution. Medina a little bit different quality than Tajuri Shradi. He's not going to run at you like Tajuri Shradi does. He does have some skill in that midfield. He'll play out wide right again and hopefully offer up a different dimension for Ronnie Dyla's side.
Paraguayan coming in. First time off the bench in this tournament, but yet another appearance in all 3 matches. The foul is called. Castellanos there getting his word in, but it will be back to Tigres. And there NYCFC getting set to make their third. And it's Maxi Morales getting set to come on, try to do some damage.
This will be interesting from Dyla. Does he go with Matritza coming out here, and that's a like for like, or does he maybe take one of the 2 midfielders out? Keaton Parks maybe, and add a different dimension going forward. We'll have an idea of how he wants to interpret the rest of this game based on who he takes out here. We know Morales is coming in. At least that's what it looked like.
Souza from the back. Out of play and right back to NYCFC. And we're hearing about that third substitute now, and it will be Morales on for Parks.
Well, this is an offensive substitution here. Keaton Parks, a good night of work in the midfield. Did a lot of the dirty work, got involved in the attack, but this is an attack-minded substitution for Ronnie Dyla.
Morales, last 3 years with NYCFC, 21 goals, 48 assists. And of course, last year, MLS Best 11, and led the league in assists as well. Quinones stuck in the back a bit, along with Vargas, as Tigres trying to build ahead. And if you're in the situation of Tigres, you're here on the road first leg, are you in the mindset of playing this to a scoreless draw or going after it?
Certainly, no doubt, if you give them a goal, they're going to take it, but they know they're going back to Universitario, where they're very difficult to play against. I think they'd come out of this feeling they haven't played their best, and they've hung in the game the entire night here. They'll play better at home. There's no doubt it'll be a difficult task, but of course, NYCFC, I think if you're Ronnie Dyla, you come out of here, regardless of the result, you come out of here thinking that you can attack this side. But they'll be under a completely different type of pressure when they go down to Mexico.
De Souza, Pizarro, trying to maybe catch out NYCFC at this point. Has not worked out. As the captain turns things back. Morales motioning to get on up there, put some pressure on. Gignac against Chanot. Quinones losing it to Morales. Tinnerholm gets a rescue of the day as Johnson could not come out.
And Tinnerholm's had such a good night.
Guzman out of the back. Stolen away, Matarrita. Morales Tigres, 1v1 to the left side, puts it on and volleyed away, keeping it away from Medina. Stays alive though, Matarrita.
Wow, good opportunity again there. You mentioned Medina at that back post. Good defending in the end to clear it away from Tigres, but Matarrita in tight spaces.
Red Bull Arena, you could hear it all night rocking. 10,212 the official attendance tonight. Here's Chanot. D'Souza all the way back to Guzman. Oh, look at that chip and that opportunity.
Yeah, good coordination here. Matarrita 1v1 against Ayala. Can't deal with him. You saw Medina coming in at that back post. And did he have a? No, he had no chance. Well closed by Guzman there. I thought initially he might have a chance to squeeze one by him.
Matarrita could not get by Rodriguez. Then a foul is won by Tigres. So much rhythm back and forth both sides in the first half, and really Tigres has drawn that out of the match as they work some possession here.
Yeah, it's a little bit choppier in this second half. It's not been sustained possession by either side. A few here and there, and then it breaks up a little bit, but to be expected here in this second half.
Quinones there, his opportunity stopped initially. Pizarro, Gignac, he tries to light it up, but deflected, and Johnson will scoop this in.
I think based on the balance of the game, if it ends in this result, I think Tigres will be the happier of the two sides. NYCFC probably rue a couple opportunities they had, especially in the first half. There's still an awful lot of time in this one left.
Tigres will be the first team to tell you that as well. Sands on back to Johnson as NYCFC first possession in the back in quite a while. Tinnerholm goes down and the foul is won.
Just Aquino here coming together with Tinnerholm. There's not much in it. You can see Aquino kind of stop and pull out of it, and Tinnerholm does get clipped, but really not much in it for me.
Tinnerholm an assist and started both matches in the round of 16 battle with San Carlos. 67 starts, a regular in the NYCFC starting 11 the past 2 years.
Well, he's one of those guys who get there on a Saturday afternoon and you know his name's going to be on the team sheet no matter what. He's so steady in everything that he does.
Tigres some numbers ahead. Quinones. Pizarro gives it off the strike, a skip it to the arms of Johnson.
Well, referee's going to have some decision to make here. Not quite sure what he saw, if he turned away at all. Vargas claiming that Johnson bit him here. The initial play started with Vargas bumping into Sean Johnson. He picks up the ball. He bumps into Vargas. We'll see it here. This is the second part of the play. And he goes hands to the face here. I don't see Sean Johnson. I'm not quite sure how to interpret this one. That's the second part. We don't see the first part. He goes hands to the face, which generally you know what that means. Either way, I'm sure Sean Johnson doesn't want a finger in his mouth, and I'm sure Vargas doesn't want anyone chomping down on his finger. So my suggestion is don't put your hand there, and none of that happens in the first place.
Not the first quabble we've seen between a keeper and an attacking player here tonight. As NYCFC back on the run the other way. Castellanos into the box, goes down, but the ball was ahead. It's out for a corner kick either way.
Such good defending by Francisco Meza here. Comes across, he gets the timing right. Castellanos trying to draw a foul here, but you'll see the timing. This is perfect. You think Castellanos has turned the corner, and look at that play. Eyes for the ball, reads the separation from Castellanos, and super tackle.
Fourth corner kick of the night for NYCFC here in the 83rd. Latritza. Wanting the handball, nothing comes by the way of the whistle.
It looked like the referee missed that one by Dueñas.
Things heating up here in Red Bull Arena. Rodriguez. Aquino. Quinones will get to this and keep it on. Cross out, throw in. Knocked down and finally cleared for NYCFC.
Tough tackle. We're going to see a card here. Medina comes late, comes from behind. It took a while, but we finally got a yellow in this one.
First yellow of the tournament for Medina.
And there you see the late challenge. Pizarro gets his body between the ball and the player. Nothing else Medina can do but foul him from behind.
'85th minute as Tigres resets from the back. That's one area we have not had to venture into to this point. 2 yellows, and you will miss the next match. And Ronnie Dyla said that ahead of the match, looking for some discipline with a second leg to come. That's what we've seen so far before that. As Vargas continues the attack onside. Cuts back over the left-footed shot. Shot comes at a huge save by Johnson.
One good block on the right side of the box here, and it comes back out. And I wonder if this shot gets deflected because it had a little dip on it before it got to Sean Johnson. He had to be sharp. I think the slightest of deflections.
Vargas starting with a right-footed shot. Now we're all the way to a corner kick. Shortly taken over the top and skied. Gignac was there. And the reaction of NYCFC was no flag.
And he looked like he beat the offside trap here. We'll say starting position from Sean Johnson is a little bit deep as this gets cut back. Now this is the initial play that goes back to Gignac. Yeah, there is a deflection right there. I thought I saw some dip on it here. There you go. There's the deflection. Change of spin. He had to be sharp here. But on the cross, I thought Sean Johnson was a little bit deep on his line here. This ball, boy, he has an opportunity if he starts 2 yards out here, but Gignac, that's the type of goal we've seen him score time and time again, and he was looking Sean Johnson in the eyes and can't steer it on frame. It's like NYCFC may have dodged one there.
And you've said it, Tony. Moment's notice he can be quiet and then pounce on the opportunity and nearly putting one in.
Well, that's what goal scorers do. They just find those moments.
Ring nearly opening things up. Morales. Castellanos on the left side. Ring from far out, strikes it, and it's a roller right to Guzman.
I got that on the inside of his foot. Alexander Ring started the play nicely. And the pace of the game has really picked up here over the last 5 minutes or so.
Rodriguez cutting through the double team. Morales now. Matriza. Cuts it through, goes down, no foul called, and it's a goal kick.
Well, Matriza there with a little after we just caught on the camera on Ayala. Yeah, there's not, does he maybe get clipped, but he's running across Ayala here. Look at Ayala's back foot. He clips him right across the leg, but I don't know that's enough for the referee to make a call there, but then you saw the elbow thrown out. Castellanos now getting into it. You don't want this, you don't want to get silly yellow cards. The referee's been pretty consistent. Remember, go back to the first half with Gignac, that same type of contact in the box, almost identical area as well.
Nil-nil here in the 89th. Things heating up, certainly after it was quiet for quite a bit here in the second half as Guzman.
Oh, we don't want to see this. People throwing things on the field, and I don't want to see that either, especially with what's going on in the world. That's silly.
And free kick going the other way as Tigres now setting up shop.
Well, either way, whatever the score ends up to be here in the end, it may be 0-0, but it's starting to set up for a pretty good return leg in a couple of weeks down at Universitario.
Contact to the back there as Vargas checking in on Chanot.
Checking in is one way to put it, Chris. He's probably asking, did I hit you hard enough? Did I get you right?
It's been a physical second half.
Which is what you expect this phase of the CONCACAF Champions League.
Two minutes of stoppage time. As NYCFC gets the ball back. And a free kick. Tigres took advantage of an opportunity in stoppage time in the second leg against Alianza to win. Can NYCFC do the same?
Chris, I'm thinking to myself, I said a few weeks from now, we only have to wait a week to get this one going again. These will all happen next week, all the return legs.
One league match for each side here over the weekend, and they're back at it in 1 week. Down in Mexico.
A very high line here from Guzman from this distance. You see him outside his 6-yard box and cleans this one up nicely.
Headed up there for the opportunity, but Guzman took it on. Quinones over the top. Morales on the run. Trying to put a stop to it. He does, at least for a moment. Pizarro cuts it back over the chance and stopped by Johnson. Second opportunity. On and in. It's Vargas. And Tigres once again stealing one in stoppage time.
And this entire play started with Nahul Guzman taking that ball, playing it out wide. The substitute, Quinones, down the right-hand side. This is the end result as Aquino gets it in the box. Pizarro knocks it down. Gignac with the opportunity. Sean Johnson pushes it into the danger area instead of around the post here. And the first to it in the box, the most alert. Eduardo Vargas, the Chilean, who wasn't all that active in the game, but this is what goal scorers do. They find those moments when a ball slips out. And that face from Tuca Ferretti doesn't say it all, but I'm sure he's happy. He's got an away goal here. He'll go back to Universitario, NYCFC. He'll go back to ruining those opportunities, Chris, in the first half.
7th career goal in CONCACAF Champions League play for that man there. And it's a huge away goal for Tigres to end out the night in Harrison, New Jersey. Your final thoughts, Tony?
Well, I think, again, I'm going to go back to NYCFC, who hasn't scored a goal in the last 2 league games. We can kind of see why. It hasn't been perfect in the final third of the field. There were opportunities. They're going to have to find the back of the net. If they're going to get through in this competition, they're going to have to do it a week from now down in Universitario. And that man there didn't have much say in the game, worked quite a bit, but that's what goal scorers do, as I said, and he finds the back of the net.
Tension building in the second half, and then punching through was Vargas on the rebound. What a moment for Tigres as they will go on to the Universitario up 1-0 and with an away goal in tow as well. NYCFC did all they could for 90 minutes, but unfortunately not the final 2. And a matchup is set on for next week. So thank you to our entire crew alongside me, Tony Miola. I'm Chris Makoviak. Have a great night, everybody.
Tenemos que definirlo, va a ser más difícil que hoy, así que ojalá que le podamos regalar el triunfo a la gente en casa.
Muchas gracias.
One more. Okay, I'll hold it. Sure.